Okay. Oh, Namaste, welcome everyone to this afternoon satsang here in Haarlem, and of course welcome to the very many friends who are joining us from different parts of the world in order to have or to share satsang in real time with us here. So big welcome for everyone, and I hope those of you who were here this morning, you had fine lunch and contemplation time also. Shri has told me that a few people are coming in the afternoon, so this will be their first satsang. So welcome to you. Perhaps what I wanted to do today would be to, if there are questions to be put, and then I would prefer that those were starting. We'll start with those who were in this morning's session. You see? Very good. So, please, you can come. Microphone is where? This one. I think it needs to be lowered, the microphone, for you a little bit. Thank you. Thank you.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste, Rani.
Thank you for calling me.
Thank you. Can I just, before we go further, just check that you can hear clearly enough? What is that? Thumbs up? Thumbs up, okay, thank you.
I come because last winter I was in Sahaja and I was hiding all the time from you.
Speak slowly for me, please, darling.
I came up
Yeah.
because last winter I was in Sahaja.
Yeah.
And I was hiding.
You were hiding?
From you.
It was you then, was it?
Yes. I don't want to pick that one up anymore.
Okay.
I want to expose.
You are doing what?
I want to expose.
You want to expose?
This one.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. It happens because actually some of the people who come to Mante Sahaja, they actually apply ahead of time. They would like to come and visit. And very many of them are people who have been watching us online for some time. And they feel they are getting very deep, nicely along, dropping deeply inside, and then they ask, please, can we come? Would like to just be in your presence and this type of thing. And they eventually make it. We write back and say, yes, this is fine, please come. And so they come. And when they come, some of them, they're hiding. You see? We notice, no? They come all this way, sometimes from much further than this country is from Portugal. And then something happened, and the people, they start to hide behind the trees, looking. So as I'm passing, they are kind of, and they manage to get away with it sometimes for a whole month. Nobody had done. Then one or two, and just on the last day or two, they come and they show themselves, and says, "I'm so sorry, I've been hiding." And I'm sure it feels dreadful to do that. But do you remember, and did you know why you were hiding? What happened to you?
The burning was really hard and mean, and I thought this one, that it was me. And I was ashamed. I was ashamed of what was coming in my head, because I thought it was me. Yes.
When did you realize it's not you? When did you realize it was not you?
I guess when I left, you were in India, and I was fine, and then you came back to Sahaja. I had to leave,
Yes.
And,
See?
but,
Not two of us can be in the same town. And you realize, because hinted was that the mind, so much comes up that previously we just accepted this is natural, this is the way that I am, this is my personality, this is my mind, and so on. And as soon as you began to become more aware of the difference, as I hinted at it this morning, the difference between yourself and your mind, you become aware of that, then you become aware also of struggle. That something is like opposed to your freedom. It gets in the way and it says terrible things and fierce judgments about other people and about myself, surely, for sure, and all kinds of stuff coming up. And for a while we are confused, about these kind of thoughts, no? And of course, maybe you feel ashamed, you don't want to be seen, you don't want to, like that.
And I was convinced that it was not for me. And this freedom was for everyone, but
Yes.
for me, life was doomed and was going to be hard always. And oh my God. I walked with this my whole life.
Yes.
And you showed me, Guruji, I'm so grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. If you didn't choose freedom, if you did not go with this urge and this impulse to break out of this grip of the ego mind, perhaps you would not even be aware. You would not become aware that such a force even exists. It only came up when you chose.
Yes.
I don't want to be like this anymore. I want to find out my true nature, you see. And then it's like,
I saw it was not me.
Okay.
I must have picked it up one day in my life. This.
Yeah. Okay, so here we are today. What's the report today? What happened now? Why you came to the microphone?
I wanted to meet you.
Yes.
Really meet you.
Yes. Yeah. What it means?
It means meeting myself. Yes. I've seen that.
Is there two of you?
No. No.
So let's look at the words you speak. You say, I want to meet myself. What does it mean then? If it's not two of you, there's not one meeting the other one, what it could mean? The lower one meeting the higher one, or the left one meeting the right one? What it mean?
There's only one.
I'm getting a little confused. Let's really try to understand, because of course we speak the words and we all feel we understand what you're saying, what we're each saying. I want to meet myself. Could we put it another way, that whatever I have thought about who I am, which is not true, I want to drop this, I want to be free of that. Then it's not really a meeting. Then something like what happened this morning. You were here this morning.
Yes.
Yes, so what happened is that we simply asked that just for the short duration of this guidance, that you would leave all thoughts about the past, memories and so on. Don't talk about it just for the short time that we have together. So we keep things very simple, and that we would not also speak about what is your projections about the future, your wishes about the future. He said, don't mention about time, past, present, future. I said, even the present moment, even that, the mind is there interpreting. Even in the present moment, it's commenting, it's giving advice, it's chat. So that, was it possible for you to simply ignore that, to leave that? So that you are not joined or attached to any of these movements of time and so on. And you agreed to it. And starting from there, I continued and said, also don't, if you can, don't hold on to any self-image about what kind of person you are and so on. And that, okay, so I've done that, okay, now what's next? So don't engage with next. This is a concept also. And the whole world is caught in this concept of next. Okay, now, what we do now? So that sometimes while we are having breakfast, we are thinking, what's for lunch? What's for lunch? And we're eating lunch, what's for dinner later? The mind is like this. It's going to the next, after this, what we're going to do. So we simply pointed this out and say, don't engage with this. Watch it, you see, you're aware of it, but don't combine it with yourself. Don't touch next. And a response came when you heard that. You could be just now. Not on the way to now. You are just now. You see. And already you could notice a change in the inner atmosphere of yourself. A calmness, a silence, a peace. It's so important that can be recognized. And I said, what did you do? Nothing. You simply didn't follow. Or you can say, this is what you did. You didn't go with the call of the mind, come and do this, look at that, in these things. You simply let that float on by, like everything was like clouds floating by. But you became like the sky, silent and immense, you see. Just like that. Did you become something? No, you did not become. Maybe for the first time, you were at rest in your own self. So, was that a meeting?
No.
No. For the first time, for many people, it is not me plus something, just you. Even to say yourself, ordinarily, we are associating personality, personhood as the self, but even the sense of personality was not the reference when I say, you are here. You as what are here? When I say, you are just here. What are you that's just here? Maybe we could not speak much about that.
I don't know what I am. I don't know.
Yes. For now, it's not important. You cannot deny that you are. But to say what you are, sometimes feel, oh, I can't say what I am. As though it is a fault. You know you are. And you know what you are not now. But you cannot speak it to say, okay, I am this thing. Anything you mention, if you put an image to this thing, you will know, I cannot be that. If it is an object of perception, if you say, I am this thing, and then this thing became an object of perception, then naturally you cannot say, I am that. So this feeling, I don't know what I am. Some people may say, oh, look, she's lost. when in fact you're found. You see, it is just our culturing, conditioning. Everybody must know who they are, what they mean. Well, when you say, so we say, okay, hello, this is John. Hello, John. How are you? Yes. Tell me something about yourself. Well, I'm from Johannesburg. I'm from the United States, and all these things. But something inside is not really touched by that. What you discovered this morning, has it faded, by the way? So what you discovered, how can you convey what that is to anybody? Even to say that you are silence, when I say but silence, you also perceive. Who are you who perceives silence? I say, okay, there's just this vast space. Yes, vast space, very great. What perceives vast space? Does it have a name? Names are offered to it, but really does it even have a name? You can say yes, Somehow it caused a name to represent itself to the mind. So you say, I want to meet myself. I said, is there two, so that there's one meeting another one? You say, no. Then what could it mean? To discover what is not myself and stop associating from this. Something remains and nobody can speak what it is. Is it an uncomfortable feeling?
No.
No. And then after this, you see, someone asks you, what is your name? I'm Claire, I'm Joanna, I'm Patrick, and so on. It's okay. You're not going to say, who are you? I'm the Absolute. No, I'm John, hi, how are you? Yes. The rest, you don't speak about it. Nobody will understand except another one who has seen will know. And maybe without words they feel, because anybody who has come to that level of recognition, you see, to others who are perceptive and sensitive, they are drawn to that one. Even sometimes people who don't know the words about it, they may be naturally attracted to you. Because why? Because it's a natural attraction to meet a human being who is truly silent. And silent doesn't mean don't speak. It means that even with speaking, there is silence, it's there. There's a sense of, you sometimes can't even say why you are attracted. You may meet such a being and find yourself pouring out your heart to them, crying in front of them, apologizing for crying, and still no, thank you for being there for me. You see, what is this power, is it? When you are again in the heart of your own self, such things do happen. So what remains to be done?
Sorry, Coach?
What remains to be done? Anything remains to be done?
No, nothing. No.
I would say more to continue to just marinate in this understanding. Just keep loving it. Even such an instruction, it's not necessary. Suppose you fall in love deeply with someone. Is anybody needed to be there to remind you to remember your beloved? You call someone, John, I asked you yesterday to remind me of something. What is it? Oh yeah, don't forget your beloved. Oh, thank you very much. No, you cannot forget. You cannot forget. And same thing. This is so alive. It is not an object in you. Your entire being is consumed in this love like that. And it gets deeper and deeper. Purer and purer also. So it's not just a knock on the head and everything is fine. Because the mind will come and it will test you. It will test because sometimes the mouth goes ahead, and the mouth says, yeah, I've done it, I got it, I know exactly what it is. I'm free. Even make tattoo, I am free. Yeah? But doesn't mean you're free. You see? It has to be that somehow you have so much, you don't even have to speak about it. But the delusions are washed away like that.
Can I come for a hug, Guruji?
I was going to ask you, you're still afraid, and now she asked me, can I come for a hug? Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's see if you make it to come on. Look at that. Huh? What a difference. We're even color matched and everything. Very nice. You'll come again, no? You will come back?
No, I follow at home the retreat in Ghent with the Sangha. Yes.
Okay. I meant to Monte Sahaja.
I have applied for Seva. We will see.
We will see. Thank you. Very good. Did you put your hand up or not? Oh, okay. Yes. Namaste, my love.
I'm a little bit afraid to ask this, but I have a very selfish question. I could reproduce a lot of questions from my mind, but I don't think they will lead to anything.
Okay.
I would really just like to experience, as long as I'm in this body, and you are, I would really love to be able to hug you. Yeah, that's it.
Come. No, it's good. Yeah. So,
I wish I had something more intelligent
no,
for you.
No, it's good. Thank you. I'm a little curious about something, no? Because you said just now, when you came, you say, yes, I wish I could ask you something more intelligent, but in the end, this is all that matters. How so?
I think...
Do you have some way? I think they're getting something.
For me, this is, through my own experience, I have indulged my mind for far too long. And it can take me to the craziest places.
Yes.
And in the end, it is not my mind that produces the questions that will take me to where I actually need to be.
Mm-hmm.
It is not bringing me any peace. And if I just am and hug people, I'm a big fan of hugging.
Then what happened?
Then I have no need for any questions, because
Yeah.
what more would you actually
Do
need?
you have need of a hug?
Do I have need of a hug?
Yeah.
Sometimes. Sometimes I need one, and then I ask for a hug, but mostly I feel the urge to hold somebody.
Yes. I would say don't close the door on questions, though. Because not necessarily the questions that come from the mind are a waste. Sometimes also the heart is inspiring the mind to ask question. The right question that is not taking you out, but that can bring an opportunity like the one we started today, to just to look and to discover what is really here. And can you imagine, I'll ask to you also, can you, having experienced what you have seen through the guidance this morning, would you have wished that it did not happen? You see? Like, for instance, if we did not have this guidance this morning, would it, now that you have received it and seen, is it not a good thing? You could have just continued, we could have just talked all day about our person and about what we want in the future and missed this opportunity, which was to really bring a focus to the very core of your being and to acknowledge, to recognize something there that is beyond need. Isn't that good also? Yeah. So sometimes people do ask questions. They say, oh, my mind is really filled with so much noise and it never lets me give me rest. But when we begin to look and sometimes we question something, you see that no, it wasn't quite like that. You see maybe in a new way. You see? And so just don't close that and say, no, I'm not going to ask any questions. I'll just settle for hugs. Maybe the mind might go, good. Yes. I am still in there.
What you're saying is, if a question arises, just let it be.
If a question arises, you can observe, whether this question is generally, I point that there is sort of two kinds of questions. There is a kind of like what I call a knowledge-based question, and somebody wants to know what happens after you leave the body, or when the consciousness is somehow feels stuck, what should I do? And it's still knowledge, or what is Brahman and what is Para-Brahman, what it mean, and so on, and what's the difference between this and that? These are knowledge-based questions. They're fine, okay, but it must lead to what I call freedom questions, meaning a question that may sound risky, but the response, the answer, might be a revelation. It might be something so powerful that it transforms a chaotic state of mind into total peace, lasting peace and joy. That one I call a freedom question. You see, because when we are merely curious, we learn. But when we are desperate, you discover, Sometimes when things, it becomes almost a question of life and death, of not just the body, but your spirit feels like so oppressed. I must get away from this. I must come out of this trap or something. And the yearning becomes so strong that, a resolution has to be found for you. Life brings you to that edge, It doesn't always have to be like that, but, because everything is already in you. The highest thing you could want, the greatest discovery, is already there somehow. And Satsang is the discovering room. Because it's not merely just speculating and giving, sort of, projections and ideas, but to actually put you into the direct experience, the immediacy of the urge of being must be satisfied.
I hope it's not insulting, but to me, what I truly love about the invitation is the simplicity of it. There's no need for any higher education or anything to be able to follow what you're saying.
Yes.
And go to the place that you're pointing at.
Yes. This morning, after the satsang, and then the recording team came to give a suggestion of what title we will give the satsang. Each satsang we do this, what should we call this satsang or whatever. And today's satsang was called The Simplicity of True Spirituality. Is it? Meaning that it's not about learning lot more and more things, and things that we cannot even follow. But it can only be opening the curtains, not to find the thing over there, but the thing which is here, actually. This is the paradox, huh? Yeah. And actually, thereafter, some learning may happen, but it's as though it's happening from inside. Waves of illumination and intuitive insights begin to come, where you know something without study even.
Not from
it can happen. No, books are good too. But the experience of them must happen from your own inner book. We're on the same page, actually. Isn't it?
And I don't even like reading.
Yeah, me too.
I hate it.
Yeah, I don't hate it, but
I love listening. That's why I'm so happy that you're talking.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Truly. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We can put this somewhere. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
I have a question. Problems sometimes come, and thank you. And I have two ways to cope with them. One of them is just a cloud. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. And they just leave. And one of them is go in, feel it, go to the pain, and then suddenly it will be gone as well. this morning, and often, I'm here totally, feeling myself. But they are nagging, the nagging voices, and it's often it comes very quickly, and I'm in it. And there are two ways to cope with them. Just sit with them, and they will be gone again. But sometimes they are very pressing all the time. And it's hard also.
Well, I would want to know what type of questions come, what kind of problems are coming. Because it's not that mechanically everything that comes we should push it away,
yes,
or should bring it so deeply in. At a certain point, you see the power of sometimes questioning and getting good questions, is that from each encounter, something is expanding within you through experience.
Yes.
You're coming to see so much more. And you lose the fear about their coming. And after a certain point, you use the words like coping. Maybe you don't feel you need to cope anymore, you see?
Be with it, or...
Well, it depends what the it is. Some things need to be looked at. Sometimes a thing comes, it needs to be looked at. And so you will know when something is to be looked at and analyzed a bit more deeply, yes, and when it is just to be discarded, or when it is pointing, yes, more that you are being very personal about it, when there's a choice to be not so personal, yes, about it. Yes. I feel that they can be helpers in some way to strengthen your powers of discernment, yes, and so on, and you meet them in the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. But it goes so quickly. It goes when I'm in myself, and it comes so quickly. So I'm totally in shock sometimes that
it shows you're not really in yourself. And what it means in yourself, you see? In yourself meaning what took place today, and I'm happy because I can make reference to that you can understand now.
Yeah.
When you say in yourself, meaning, today we say you have discovered the very isness of being, okay? That isness, that space, that whatever it is that we cannot really give it a name too strongly, that and yourself are one,
yes,
isn't it?
Yes.
So is it part-time one? How can when are you not the isness?
Yeah.
You see? But I understand what you say, because something seems to jump out, yes, and get caught up. Yes. I say that is the idea we have of who we are. The idea you have of who you are is struggling with other ideas it projects about itself. Can I say again like that? Mm-hmm. The idea, not what you are, but the idea you have about who you are in this present moment is struggling with its own ideas that is projected. Okay? We're almost 2 steps out, if you want to use language in this way. All the time, the isness, mm-hmm, your real place, mm-hmm, you are not aware of it at all. Like, you're not, you see,
just is.
At first, we say, are you aware of it? So it seems like there's a duality there, one being aware of the other. But as you become more acclimatized, something stabilizes in this understanding, then it doesn't feel like 2 anymore. You see?
Yes.
It's one. It's one harmony. Mm-hmm. And your language itself will change. Mm-hmm. You will not be able to really authentically say, when I come out of myself. It would just seem ridiculous thing to say.
Yes. Yes.
You see like that?
Yes.
So the idea we have of ourselves presently may be experiencing a nice phase. It's feeling very happy, very calm, very loving, and then something comes and immediately struggling. Is it the isness that is struggling? No. So this is already good. Now you have a way of seeing that whatever it is that gets caught in that, it is also some scenario going on. Can it cover up the isness?
No.
This is going to become very, very powerful for you, because it is you yourself that are labeling and misjudging the situation, not understanding completely, and then believing that your judgments are true, and believing them so deeply that they become your experience.
Yes.
You believe them into existence, and they become your experience.
Yes.
You see, this must be understood, and if it really is understood deeply, there's a joy in discovering this. Because in discovering this, you find that your field of being is very expansive, not the restricted state that personhood often exists in. So something is outgrowing those shoes completely, you know?
Yes.
And you see that there were not really problems at all. They were only problems for the one you imagine yourself to be. It is so important that we begin to understand the mechanism of the egoic identity, how it comes into play, how it, you see, otherwise if we don't know, then you take on its suffering, you take on its troubled creation. You know?
Yes.
Yeah. You are much behind that in the field of being, in the place of the isness. Have I said too much about that?
No.
Okay.
I'd love to have a hug.
Okay. I think I should move my chair actually. Huh? To the right. Oh yes. Yeah, because I'm sitting like this too much. Recently, we bought one chair that swivels. Because I tended to look too much to the left. Yeah, very good. Yeah, you understood what I spoke?
And I hear it all the time. I will listen.
Yes.
Listen to it.
Yes, and listening come in here. Very good.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Yeah. Okay, to the right. Okay. And someone is going to be saying, to the back. Sorry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful man.
Who's that?
I know I can say this without any danger. Because it's past the personal. Grace has brought me to you in February in Lisbon.
Yes.
It played a trick on me. I was accompanying a friend who was afraid of traveling. I said, I'll take you there.
Yeah.
But as soon as I was there, and you did the invitation with us,
Yes.
I knew Grace played a trick on me.
Yeah.
And then the domino bricks started falling. You are coming to the Netherlands. I will see you in Barlo, in a castle. And then I got an email, Satsang with Mooji in Haarlem, my hometown. I thought my son had been busy copy-paste with this email, I read it again. Mooji is coming to Haarlem. I am so grateful.
Very.
And I'm so grateful that you did the invitation with us this morning.
Yes.
I hope the people who were not here this morning will go back and look at it and go with you.
Yes.
I asked my head teacher for a week off in September. She granted me that week. So I filled in the application form to come and see you in Montesahaja. And I will have the message the beginning of August. But if not, I will apply again and again and again. Dear Mooji, if I was the beloved father and I had to send somebody to the world to give the good message, I wouldn't choose anyone else than you. Thank you very much. Thank you. In Lisbon, you came out in a lunch break, and your fierce little eyes found me, yes. And you said, looking at me, let this life be for freedom.
Yes.
As if you knew me, my whole life has been for freedom. When I was young, I thought I had to fight for it. But that was not understanding. Through the invitation, and a bit before that already, I knew I am free, and it's love. And I know friends of mine are looking all over the world, on holiday, on the campsite, outside of their tent. It's okay. I can go on for hours, but I want to listen to you.
Thank you. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you.
That joy that you express, that's through the introduction, through the invitation to freedom, has been so much my joy, because for so long we tried to convey, because having once come into the real understanding, it becomes very easy to see how the misunderstanding has lasted for so long, you see? And such an urge, such a fire is there to really redirect the attention to where it really needs to come to discover the truth of yourself, you see? And the invitation is a wonderful friend for this, because without going through strenuous internal work or rituals or so on, I don't speak against them, but it brings right to the very heart of what needs to be discovered. And it does not leave you with sort of a speculation. You become the answer. Yourself become the answer. You see everything is journeyed back to yourself. And not yourself personally, not your person. And the person now, the sense of the person, which is just like a kind of self-portrait of the self. The self-portrait of the self is not the self. And something now begins to watch all of this from a place that you cannot describe. And it's not important whether you can describe it or not. The fact is that you begin to recognize more and more, I'm at home, you see. These doubts cannot live on, and suffering states, due to ignorance of the true nature, they cannot continue, you see. So I strongly encourage to stay with what you have discovered. Sometimes we feel how, because I've not given you homework and lots of pages to turn. No, what is the homework? The homework is to stay home. It's not homework, isn't it? Down, you don't have to ask, but where is home? Because it is shown to you. You see? And your urge, growing urge to really be so firmly established in it, that will be your own GPS. It will take your attention back always to here. Many times we are asking questions about daily life, how I should do this, if this thing happened, what should I do, and I'm not getting on well with my partner, and how should I do this when people think this, and how to get rid of jealousies, and we can go on and on. But this discovery, this quintessential discovery, you see, once your attention comes back to the proper place, all these seeming problems, they dissolve in the light of that seeing. Because the problems are primarily for the person. And you are discovered you are much more than what is called a person. You are the presence itself. And gradually this presence becomes more and more subtle. It just gets merged into pure awareness itself, the imperishable one. You see? So, if we talk too much about, well, what if and what this and so on, then the mind is trying to create a picture about the self. You must reject all these pictures because none of them are true. None of them are true. When anything that you can perceive through the mind or through the senses or imagination, they are just momentary, they are temporary, they are fleeting, they are images that come and go. That in which they come and go and in which they are perceived, that does not come and go. Stay there until there is no effort to stay there. You come to see, but wait, I am here. Why to say, stay where I am? I am already here. You see? But that must happen, and it takes time somehow to mature and the mind become more subtle, and the habits are fading in their impact. Everything is moving, becoming more unified, and yet you don't have the sense that you are doing anything at all. Now, some people who have given too much importance to this type of mind, conceptual projections and so on, may feel, this path is not for me. I mean, he always says the same thing over and over and over again. You know, I want new problems. I want something to solve. You see, and why did it do all of this? Why does it make things so difficult? And it seems to come that it is as though the consciousness in expression creates the sense of a problem in order to have the experience of transcending it. It may not be so. It feels quite agreeable to me that what else? Because once this play of existence is born, and the appetite for experiencing, for knowing and to growing and to grasp and to change and to fix and to become, and all of this very, very fertile field for the mind. You see, we cannot come to the end of learning. But at some point, we can see you can gather all the knowledge you want and still not be happy, not be at peace, feeling frustrated and impatient with life. And then surely these are indications that there must be a higher way than that. You have found it. take care of it. Take care of what you have discovered. And it will become your inner teacher, guiding you even when you are sleeping. Something continues to expand. Just like even when you sleep, you're still growing, is happening still. Can it be really as simple as that? You must become the proof that truth exists, not merely as theory. Okay, another one. From the back, Honnor. Yeah, it's good.
Hi, Mooji.
Hello.
I want to be the proof of what you're talking about. I've had glimpses with you
Yes.
and with doing the practice of the I am practice
Yes.
and the invitation. But there's not this sense of stability and confidence yet.
Yes.
It's like a surfer riding a wave. When
Yeah.
I'm riding the wave, I'm like, I'm the self. And I get thrown off,
Yeah.
and I'm washed away,
Yes.
and it's becoming a bit tiresome.
Yeah. So let's
Yeah.
use this example. Huh? I like it also. Huh? So it is. I want to become more stable. It is as though I am the surfer. I'm surfing along. Oh, I feel. Oh yeah. Whoa. You see? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Look. Whoa. I've got it. And then over. Splash. Oh, no, I have lost it. Okay. The very same picture I'm going to use. Okay. But that which perceives the surfer surfing, okay, and feeling, oh yes, I've got it, flip, splash, disappointed, that in which this scenario has taken place and is perceived. At the place where it is perceived, all of the content of what you have said, but no identity has been formed with the surfer. That intelligent principle that perceives all of that, that is yourself. An idea springs up early to say, yes, I've got it, yeah, I'm getting a glimpse, oh yeah, getting there, and whoa, and the glimpse is becoming, yeah, when is the Olympics? Oh yeah, I'm going to be, it's like this. And something actually must go through that, because one meditation teacher, she wrote to me and told me that, some of your students, have come and they have seen that without even many questions, they came to see that they had maybe some glimpse of what you speak, and it can creep into the consciousness that they have accomplished everything. They've got the highest teaching, and they believe that it has been accomplished, it's fulfilled. And yet, at the same time, there is something that is not really conveying that deeper down. It's like, and that is not good. Because we are very sometimes quick to say, yeah, I got it, I know I'm the self, and all this type of thing. But yet, a little thing goes off, and then we are back in personhood again. We're all one, and then somehow somebody did not send you the money that they owe you, and then suddenly we are not one anymore at all, we are two, and all this kind of stuff, you see. So life will keep testing to see how deeply has this understanding really merged inside your consciousness, you see. So you gave me a beautiful example that if I were to use this metaphor that I'm surfing, and I first fell off a few times off my board, and I'm getting better. Yes, I got good instructor now, and I'm going through the waves. They're twirling around, going through. I'm feeling very much like champion surfer, going through, feeling very, very content with myself, and then you're off the board, flying, end up in hospital, concussed. Okay, and then maybe it's a time for some humility will come to that one. Why for this one? Because the identity is there. If the identity is not there, then flip, fall, crash, and still that is seen, and a lesson is seen inside that, but the pure awareness remains untouched. Can you find a space in you where all this play is going on, including now the fact that the inmost self is not a surfer? The idea we have of ourselves was surfing, getting better, and so on. So is itself a visible, tangible scenario playing in this field of the mind awareness, mind consciousness, like that. Does it make sense at all? This is what happens as you sit more with it. You see, it's as though this more tangible version of yourself is merging, becoming so subtle, so subtle. And pure awareness is there. It's almost as though the person is being replaced by a field of intelligent, invisible awareness. And that's not an object. I'm using words that may sound like that, but it is not a person. It does not. It knows what person feel like. It has had that experience. But now, identity and the reflex to keep tripping back into identity, all that is seen, and the place that I'm pointing to, that supreme place in yourself, remains unalterable. That is where your attention is growing back towards. Not the storyteller, you see. Even the experiencer, who itself was a form, is perceived in the greater formless awareness itself. This is a gradual maturing somehow. Because you will still have the sense, you still have a body, you'll still be, a mom to your children, a wife to your husband, a friend to your workmates. All this play is still there. They're not just immediately erased or something like that. And they need not be necessarily. But a deeper truth, a greater understanding, you see, they're rooted in that deeper field, you see. So the life presently is taken to be so consequential. Every little thing you think matters and does and has some consequence. But as you mature in the deep seeing, that life becomes more superficial, more playful, not so intense, you see. So it's not that we are cursing life and say, oh, now it's all a dream and so on. No, in fact, the dream has become something more real because you are the real, in fact, but not in the way that the old identity was reading and interpreting it. The whole identity becomes more of an apparition, like like a sort of unimagined self, you see, in the greater space. Have I gone too far to speak like this with you? So this is what is initially, of course, we may have the feeling, okay, we did this exercise, now I see that I am the self. Yeah, I'm the isness. Oh, wow, I'm the isness, you see. But yes and no. Yes and no. The seeing is there, the experience is confirming, and it is truth. But the habit and the momentum of habit that has been collected over so many years and lifetime is still fighting for some attention. It's now going to be fighting for survival in some way. It has no natural chance to win over you. But if you entertain feelings of doubt or you have a lot of investment in phenomenality, do you understand when I speak like that? If you have a lot of investment in what kind of thing you want to do in the world and you want to be the best at this and you want to be recognized, these things will create a lot of noise, and the attention will go to feed this noise. But you have had this taste. It's more than a glimpse what has happened in you. It's more than glimpse. So something, you cannot put words to it. And if you're not able to put words to it over the next 6 months, it's quite fine. You don't have to write a thesis about it, okay? Just be with it. And of course, something wants to try and tell someone as you feel you're expanding in understanding. You want to share with your friend, sometimes just to show them that you're more spiritual or something. No? And then they will just say, well, you need to go and see a shrink or something, you're all messed up. You will not get the results you want because something just says, keep quiet and just continue. This is your private joy. You stay with this and mature and grow in it. That's it, like this. You see. Just like you don't plant a tree today and you get fruit tomorrow. So something must take care of this. By taking care, I simply mean that you put your attention just to be with this. And you'll see that just by keeping quiet, something moves deeper in you. And it's manifesting something. This nurturing is going on. And you become much more sensitized, more sensitive. Because life, God, is going to be giving little clues. And you must become sensitive enough to find them. You don't have to go searching too much. They're right where you are. And the more you become sensitized enough to say, wow, this. And so much illumination, so much joy comes, you become better at it. It is really training your intuitive faculties to expand and to grow. I call this learning the alphabet of God. You're learning the language of the Spirit. You see, more and more you're able to understand things which are not so clear on the surface, on the superficial play. This is a great field of experiencing. It is the deepening of this divine romance in you see. And it belongs to everyone. Everyone. It's like I say this morning, winning yourself back from states of delusions and fears and projections, coming back into the natural clarity of being. It will come. So yes, of course, in the beginning, you might get knocked around because one of the things that must not develop in you is arrogance, you see. And sometimes something wants to show itself like it's a specialist or something. Oh yes, I am more empty than you, this kind of stuff. And life gives you a chop here, and like this, you see. I am the greatest nobody that exists. Okay? We are like this. It can be as silly as that. and taken deeply seriously, you see, because the competitive ways of the ego doesn't die so quickly. But you hold on to this because this is the most valuable discovery. It's already happening. Don't be in such a hurry, but be earnest in your urge. You say, yes, yes. That you give value to this is already something powerful. Because what you give value to, that will, you will endorse energy, you will put energy there, and it will grow vigorously in you. But the more we indulge states of egohood, or personality, personhood, the more you keep swinging around, knocking from door to door. But here, something is just deepening. You can't speak about it. It's like you can't speak. You can speak about regular things, a glass of water, these things, trees, but this, you cannot speak about it. To speak about it is not, it's not like a great attribute to speak about it. You see, it's okay if you can't speak about it. Some great sages couldn't speak. I can't speak about it. There's no book written about it. You are the book of it. We can write book about the different states of consciousness and mind and all these things. But about the quintessential awareness, consciousness, there is no story in it. Now the mind says, no story, what value then? What's the value? It must have some quality that we can compare. No, it's beyond quality. So if any of you feel this deeply, I'll give you some time to take it inside more, and you begin to feel that actually that's awakening consciousness, the presence of God, the presence, the sense of conscious presence expanding inside you. Then you may come and spend a bit of time with us and be in that environment, which is a concentrated environment of looking, so that indeed you will come to that stage beyond which you cannot go back. To go back to what? To go back? Foolishness, things. You are that flower, your heart is that flower that won't wither, it will not dry up. This is why I asked you this morning, can it fade? And I asked you this afternoon, has it faded? And you say what? No, it has not faded. What about tomorrow? We will see. What can give the sense of fading is when the attention jumps back into the old regime of identity and humdrum. Then you say, oh no, it's gone. Where exactly has it gone? Where can it go? Where can the infinite go? And some people will sometimes feel the infinite is everywhere except in me. And that is ignorance and arrogance. You see? So the place of the one who is measuring themselves and saying, I really got a glimpse. What does it mean, a glimpse? Are you an object in front of the lens of perception, or are you behind the lens of perceiving? Or both? Or both and beyond? Reflect a moment on it. I was saying that, are you merely an object in front of the lens of perception, or are you behind the lens of perception? Because I say this because one time I was asking someone, who is looking out from behind those eyes? Who looks out? Who is looking out? And this man, he said, conditioning is looking out. I was very pleased at it. It says conditioning is looking out, meaning the one who judges and things, is what I've learned. And I said, but what observes conditioning looking out? Then he smiled. He says, I can't speak about it. When you have come to that place of seeing, it is as though you're looking out from this immensity, because you have not limited yourself merely to the form of the body. And I ask you, is it imagination? You see? If identity is not stuck inside you, in which case now you begin to see, wait a second, there's a kind of stuckness that's watching. That which is watching stuckness, is that stuck? Then, you see, from habit, you may place yourself in the place of your feelings. There's a feeling is coming, an image is coming, oh, you're so stuck, you don't know what you're doing. And I said, but what is aware of that? Is that stuck? Is that confused? And everything breaks up. The invitation itself has been introduced in some prisons around the world, and with such marvelous results. Where some people who have been in prison now, they say, oh my God, I'm learning to observe. So I wish I knew this, I was aware of this. The capacity, the potential to observe, always there. But the knowledge to observe was not shown, you see. Now we're looking, and these people, many of them, they are prime candidates for freedom, actually. What else you got going on right now? So they look and see, and are internally more free than many people walking free on the street. Not clinging to identity, cultured identity, see? Seeing from deeper. Not being cynical about your traditions and so on, but seeing from a deeper place. Where is this deeper place? So are my words reaching that deeper place? So that it's not merely a person-to-person conversation, but more consciousness is speaking with consciousness about consciousness. So it's not about what you're going to do tomorrow and did you pay. No, it's much more pure. You know? And as you listen, and it corresponds internally with you, you'll find naturally that the consciousness field is rising into higher altitudes, higher regions of consciousness. And each is like a step. Each step is like a platform where the entire field is working in a higher expressions of consciousness, more subtle. All these things, they are in you. I hope somehow that as you follow the very simple advice to stay, you'll begin to see the fruits that come off the tree of consciousness that you are. We have a saying that we like to taste the honey, we don't want to be the honey. This is our tendency and temperament. We want to taste, we don't want to be the honey, we love tasting the honey. But here, you taste the honey, and you are the honey. Is it for pleasure, pleasure, pleasure? No. Don't become pleasure junkie. To be free from the binding grips of the egoic identity. When will this be? It has already begun. See, it's very unlikely that your mind will trouble you when you're in this altitude of consciousness. It is going to be functioning on baser things, personal things. It's good, it's fine, it's good, it's good, it's fine. Yeah, it is going to be functioning on baser things, you see? Like person things. But yes, it would be, I think he's quite happy. I want to tell you a story. Can I tell you a little story? Everybody loves stories. So, you most probably, if you've been listening and following Satsangs, you may have heard me say this before. But it just feels like a good time to tell you this one again. So if you've heard it before, it's always fresh anyway for me. No? Okay, so. It says that there was a certain man that every day he would go out with his donkey. You must catch me now. He used to go out each day with his donkey, and they would go to this place, this rocky place, and he'd be chipping at the rocks, because it was known that sometimes you will get some precious stones they will find there. Sometimes they find some turquoise or something they'll find there. So he spends almost every day, he goes out, him and his donkey, and he ties the donkey up there and he's chipping away, chip. And at the end, every month, he will take what he finds, into the town and try to get some money for his findings. So it's like this, every day chipping away in the hot sun and picking up little teeny bits of precious stones or something like that, and putting it in his bag. And then when the sun goes down, he gets on his donkey, he goes home, okay? So one day, he's there chipping away, donkey standing over there, and a celestial gem fell from the heavens, you see. into the sand. So he looks around. He sensed something drop there. So he went over and he starts to move the sand around, and what he finds? The most beautiful stone. But it is like, it's so transparent. He's never seen anything like this. So he says, what strange thing, what is this strange thing, where it can come? So he looks at it and he thinks it's a piece of glass. A piece of glass. Even though it's beautifully shaped, but you see, because it's a piece of glass. So he scratches his chin. What to do now? So he finds a rope, a little bit of rope that he used to tie up his saddle, and he takes a rope and he makes a little thing quickly, crudely, around this celestial gem, big like this, and he puts it around the neck of his donkey. And he goes, strange things happen these days, huh? And then he goes back again, chipping away in the hot sun. So one traveler happened to be passing, and he saw the whole thing. He was maybe 50 meters away, sitting under a tree, and he saw the entire thing. And he sees that this man must be a fool or something. So he approaches the man. Hello? Hello? Can I speak with you, my friend? Yeah, I'm a bit busy right now. Yeah. I have an urgent appointment in the town. I must get there. Can I give you 100 euro for your donkey? 100 euro for this beast? Yes, it's an important appointment. Yes. Give him 100 euro. He got on the donkey. He goes off and he goes around. So this man is saying, strange things happen these days. This piece thing fell out from the sky. Nobody, I can't see where it could come from. Now this man pays me 100 euro for a 20 euro donkey. What's happening these days? He came chup. So the stranger, he rides, maybe a mile or two away, and he gets down off the donkey. He takes the celestial gem off the neck of the donkey, and he turned the donkey around, slap him, the donkey walks back to his master. No? Then the man says, what a strange day this is. First this piece of glass falls from the sky, then some stranger come give me 100 euro for this 20 euro donkey. Now the donkey come back also. What a strange day. So, point of the story, celestial gems come, but he is not appreciated. His mind is in too small things to appreciate that something so wonderful could happen. So is very tying the gem around and putting it around the neck of the donkey shows his value of it, his value of the entire experience. Put it around the neck of his donkey, you see. So someone else who could appreciate it took it. You have received this celestial gem. Let's see what you're going to do with it. I don't see many donkeys around Haarlem. I know maybe something, maybe you put around bicycle, maybe, I don't know. But okay, please come, talk to me. Thank you. Okay. Yes.
I want you to read it. You want to read it, or shall I read it?
As you like. Okay. Oh, he looks fit. And I was let him do it because I know the Dutch are fit with all this bicycle riding.
That's obviously not for the ego, right?
I read it. It says,
Okay.
my original infinitely great happiness, or compared to it, suffering, torture to death. Also this was I beforehand willing to experience out of infinitely great courageous charity, entirely to the benefit of this humanity. This is you. My original infinitely great happiness, or compared to it, suffering, torture to death. Also, this was I beforehand willing to experience out of infinitely great courageous charity, entirely to the benefit of this humanity. What did it mean? Explain to me.
It's just recognition from whom we really are.
Yes.
That by taking on this human experience, we've all given our life for the humans.
Yes.
As long as we don't experience our original joy, meaning as long as God does not experience his being himself, experiences being but us as humans, he's still crucified, he's still buried, he's still dead.
Yeah.
But remembering this leads to the resurrection,
Yes.
because there is no greater love
Yes.
than to be willing to do what, as God, we've all have done by being willing to come to earth and experience being but human.
Yes. Yes.
Which compared to the infinite perfection of God, for God to experience to being just a little imperfect human being,
Yes.
that's hell.
Yes.
But as God we did it, we came here knowing beforehand how horrible it would be here compared to, let's say, original state. So that then also the humans would one day know that who they really are is the one whose love is so great that he was willing to even be tortured to death for it,
Yeah.
to come to life again and have his joy back again, only when also the humans would have it, because then he would have it as all the humans, in all the humans. And he wouldn't gain anything with it, because he would only recuperate what he had voluntarily sacrificed, and would have back again only when we would have it. And it is that one that is now remembering this.
We can put it in those words, of course. We can put it in this way too. You see?
Because you just mentioned that we have this tremendous gem, and that we haven't recognized it yet.
Yes.
So I thought, well,
Yeah.
this is a little recognition of it.
Yeah.
Because it is true that we are pure consciousness, pure awareness, which is all completely true. But you also have said many times that it is really love, also.
Yes.
And so what does that mean, love? Well, if you're willing to be tortured to death, so that you create another being, because you're going to, if you're God and you're going to experience being someone else, that's not yourself anymore, that's like being tortured to death. And then in that other one that you know beforehand is going to torture you to death, but then in that other one you remember, wait a minute, I'm not this one, I'm something else. And then you take the distance, which you always talk about, you look at it, and then more and more you come to your real self, and then these kind of memories also come up. And then you can really be happy with yourself and everyone else when you realize, oh wow. So you have a Christian background, so you understand this very well. All the adoration or all the love, all the recognition that Christians give to Christ, right? The one who was willing to die for everyone, to be tortured to death, to bring us to God. That same recognition is due all of us.
Sorry, the same recognition is
that
what?
Same recognition
Yes.
that Christians give to Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Is due all of us. That is a symbolic story. that is describing what we have done and what we are experiencing. It's a parable, you know, the whole Bible's full of parables. That's a parable.
Yes.
So when people talk about Christ consciousness, yeah, that includes knowing, wow, so I'm the one who gave his life for humanity, for this human, and for everyone else, and everyone has done that, we're all that. Yeah. Then you're off the hook, completely. Then you're not only innocent, and innocent is the least of it. Then you're...
I would like that the people come to a genuine recognition of what you are, okay, without necessarily fitting it into a model or a particular story also.
Yeah.
Because it comes to the same point,
Sure.
that I don't want to graft into your mind what is in my mind, like this. First, that you come into the authentic recognition of that you feel the natural transcendence emerging in you, and recognize also that grace has a great part to do with it. Because even who reminds you to remember even? You see? At a certain point, when we have understood really experientially, then we can talk about some of these things with great joy, with great understanding, you see? Because you have walked authentically through the experiencing and come to see it like that, you see? Yes.
Well, this is all based on experience. I could never have figured it out otherwise by myself. How could I?
Yes.
It's based on experiences that I've had. So I'm glad I'm able to share it here now. Because actually we talked about it once, but very short while, years ago. And you liked it very much, but it was only like a few minutes we talked. There were an internet event where you participated. There were like 200 people, maybe you remember? We were all online a few years ago.
Yeah.
The lady was moderating. And maybe I was the third one or the fourth one to speak. And I talked a little bit about this. And then I remember and then I turned my microphone off because you weren't going to come on. And I thought, well, to cut off the echo, so I turned my microphone off. And it was new software. I'd never used it before. It was it was just for that online event. So anyway, then you spoke, and I remember the first thing you said was, I enjoy listening to you, but now that you know this, and it's all true, you should take this opportunity to even more now, to come to self-realization.
Yeah.
I'm saying that. And then you waited for me to respond, but I couldn't find how to turn my microphone back on. And I saw you watching me, and I knew everyone is listening, waiting for me to respond, and I couldn't. And I was getting frantically looking for, where is that button? Oh my God, I turned this microphone on. Oh my God, he's going to think, how unpolite.
No.
He's waiting. That is what happened. So,
Yes.
But it is good that it happened, because I think this is stronger, better wording than what I could have said then.
Yes.
So I just wanted to share you, and I really want to thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you.
All right.
Wonderful.
All right.
Thank you.
Namaste, Mooji.
Namaste.
I just hope my cry let me finish what I want to start. After so many years being born in a family in Brazil, which the dictatorship time, and on top of it, a very loyal Mormon family, learning from a very young age about free will, the right to choose, and for some reason it didn't seem real, because as a young child, my mother and my father were choosing for me. And I just guessed, if they are choosing from me, who is choosing from them? And then I grow up, and the army forces were choosing for us. As a missionary, the people who were in charge of us were choosing what we had to do to bring people to the church. And then went on and on and on and on. Somehow it seems like I was choosing, but a wife was chosen for me. And one day, I realized even my sexuality was being chosen for me. One day I wake up and say, wow, if I do have the right to choose, I'm going to stop all that and I'm going to choose myself. And I left everything and come to Europe. And I have beginning the illusion that I was choosing my life. And things were just happening. And then I began to realize I was not choosing. I was just learned from very early age to realize the moment and be with it, but with no knowledge of anything.
Yes.
And a few years ago, 3 years ago, of all the things I learned in my entire life, 55 years, was one thing you said. It completely validates everything everything was in my head since so young. We don't have the ability to surprise God. It felt so liberating. Not because I want to be a coward and just let God choose for me, but be able to experience. And for that, I'm very grateful to you. Very, very, very much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we go today, I want to say, of course, that I'm very happy to have come here. You know, it has been something that has been, as I said, brewing to come, because the call, the seeming yearning that was coming from the wind that was blowing from this country in my ears was getting a bit more. I think we have to go there, because over the years of traveling so much, I found that the urge to travel is really slowed down, and I'm enjoying this because I don't particularly like traveling. Actually, if I'm being honest, we travel only because I've felt that a calling is coming, and something responds to that. And I felt that for coming here to Holland. And I have to say I'm very happy that we had this time today and this morning also, because it's very palpable for me, very tangible for me. When a listening has deepened beyond the shallow waters of the mind and is going more deeply inside the hearts, it carries a certain vibration and a certain stillness, which I have witnessed here today. I only want to encourage you now to stay with this in the most innocent way. You see? And just like something that if you come to recognize, I don't know where this is going, but it feels really, really compelling to follow this lead now, that some grace, something is with me, and it just, as Muji said, to be with it, to honor it, to hold on to it, and don't give it to your mind. And you'll see that a very natural pull is going to take your attention, everything, back towards the source. Sometimes people have come and they said, I feel I'm dying. And I said, no. You're not dying, you're confused about this. What you are not is dying. What is not in service to you, the truth of yourself, that is fading, and the mind is going, I'm dying. So actually, the most wonderful thing is happening. Sometimes people say, I'm going crazy, and I have to say, no, you're becoming sane. Okay? The interpretation is coming from the mind. No, I don't know what's happening to me. I don't know what's happening to me. I say, nothing is happening to you. Everything seems to be happening in the mind. And you are going to grow much more acutely at recognizing the mind stuff and how much we seem to have taken on by identifying so much with the body-mind. The body is very important for experiencing. The consciousness needs the body for tasting, experiencing, you see. But the body is not our essential being. It is the instrument that the consciousness and the vital force needs. It's a perfect combination to allow the consciousness in this mode of its expression to experience the things it needs to experience through the mode of individuality and to wake up to its original nature. This is what's happening. When I speak like this, maybe the words may sound a bit complicated, but actually the experience is very simple. As the discernment becomes more clear for you, you will discern when something is coming from, it's just mind stuff, it's to do with the person. But now as you recognize that the person is only another portrait, another self-portrait, that is not what you are, you will not be pulled so strongly into reactions and struggles and fighting and so all of these things. This is calming the seas of the mind just by remembering and being who you are. So it will take time, but it is the best time spent. You don't have to take time off work and leave your family and all these things, because the mind wants to do all these things. He wants to go and plant a flag, something, and go, yes, I've done it. No, you just carry on in what has to happen, but keep being present in this. It's not that you have to do a lot of thinking, but something becomes much more tender, more humble, more open, more gracious. It's happening by itself. And you may continue to watch. There are many YouTubes about this. And recently we made the team, beautiful team, I'm blessed to have a very beautiful team. They have made something called the toolkit for freedom. which means we have selected a number of videos that is quite likely that whatever problems come up through the mind, those videos will address them. But the biggest thing you can do is to keep on checking in. If you have not heard the invitation before, it is online, it is totally free. You may read the book. We have one booklet here. It looks like this, and there you can also go and just listen to it. Just put it in, listen, and somehow trust this, because you will see that you are just coming into a deeper and clearer recognition of that which really exists in you. That would be my quintessential pointing and encouragement. I don't want to leave you with a lot of words and techniques and so on, because you don't need any technique to be yourself. You simply need to watch at where the mistakes were made, and some mistakes had to happen. Some faults had to happen. Some things sometimes you have to crash and make a lot of bad judgments and so on for a while to taste what that feels like. We have to feel also sometimes pain and states of confusion, and then now it's a beautiful season, because now becoming more and more clear as to your true nature, you see, beyond merely intellectual analysis and conviction. So I just want to encourage you in this way. Some of you, no doubt, will be following us down to the next point we are making in a few days to begin a retreat there of 5 days. I look forward to seeing you again then. I didn't want to go too much into little details now, because I don't feel it is important and necessary. It just makes things seem more noisy. The important things to point out has been pointed out. Follow that. And by itself, if you stay with it, it will pull your attention more and more into the heart. Just stay with that. Simple as it is. And experience the fruit of your seeing. Are we good for this? Yes. And then I would like to just say thank you for inviting us to come here, and that may these talks become very important for your own inner discovering. Like I say, you are the seeds of awakening in a sleeping world. And to stay with that, just to be with this, grace is very much there. You're not a person doing anything. The grace is going to keep revealing again, just your true nature coming again to the surface. And it is a wonderful discovering, but sometimes fraught with some challenges. You sometimes will feel challenges and so on, but the challenge will come particularly when we go back into states of personhood. You'll feel them. Like this, you will come to recognize, wow, I can also just watch that rather than fall into the pit of that and have to climb out. You can just watch it and remember where I'm looking from. Everything is here to support your awakening. Yeah. And I would say everyone in the world must wake up. It's only a question of time. Whether it's this lifetime or another lifetime or several lifetimes or many, I don't know. God is not impatient, you see. But your chance is now also. And I don't feel it is any accident. It might appear like that. That is just an accident, No, but something brought you here. And trust that also. Rumi, great poet saint, he also said like that, whoever brought me here must take me home. Home meaning, take me back to the original place. He also said something that I like very much, and I often say this. One of his poems goes like this. It says, knocking at the door, it opens. I have been knocking from inside. Again, knocking at the door, it opens. I have been knocking from inside. It's a great clue. Why are we knocking on the door? Because you think you're outside. Knocking, let me in, please let me in, bang, bang, bang. Okay, this knocking is important. Because of the knocking, the door must open, you see. Until the door opens, you don't know where you are. When the door opens, you realize, I'm already inside. Which means we are knocking in search of fulfillment, lasting happiness, lasting joy. We imagine that we are journeyers on this long path to awakening or to meeting God. So this knocking happens, and grace answers, the door opens. The door opening means what? It means that the revelation, real understanding comes. Light again comes to your eyes, and you come to see where you really are and where you've always been. So all of this life, or lifetimes, I can put it inside this beautiful metaphor and poem. Knocking at the door, it opens. I've been knocking from inside. We are inside because that's the only true place you can be. But our dreamed selves and its dream journey makes us appear that we are separate, that we have lost our way. You see, we have lost. And this loss becomes painful to us. Then you begin to knock, please let me in. I cannot bear to be outside. And grace opens the door for you. My love, you are already here. And may this understanding really take hold inside our heart, so that you can free yourself from the shackles of the mind, from delusions, and that more light can pour again in this world. May truth become contagious again. And each one plays a part in it. In the book of life, no one is lost. Bless you, and I love you. Thank you. music is that?
Sing together if you feel like. Namah
Parameshwaraya Namah. Hari Om Namah Shivaya.
Parameshwaraya Namah.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari
Hari Om Namah Shivaya Parameshwaraya Namah.
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 Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Hari Om, Hari Om,
Hari
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om,
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari It's a little bit difficult to leave for some reason.